Hey everyone, how are you this week? Happy Home Maintenance Challenge Week. I am so excited to be joined by Taylor Hall from Hallmark Home Improvement. How are you, Taylor?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. So tell us a little bit for anyone who doesn't know who you are. I mean, you were on our Home Maintenance Challenge last year, so if they did the challenge, they should know. So tell us who you are, what are you involved in, that kind of thing.
I'm Taylor Hall. I'm from the South Hill area originally, so local. Had the business for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
relatively new, but doing very well.
Yeah.
We do pretty much anything from drywall work to decks to patios, whatever you name it.
Yes.
I got started in landscaping and kind of just moved into remodeling work.
Yes. So you are our expert because I am not an expert in this area. And a lot of the people that are watching certainly are not either. And so we have some questions and we're hoping to call on your expertise tonight with this home maintenance challenge, if you'll allow us.
Absolutely.
Fire away, right? Okay. So we're talking about spring home maintenance here. And so what do you feel like the very first thing is that people should do? Signs of spring, it's obviously spring outside. What should they do to take their first step in home maintenance?
Best thing I could recommend is just walk your property. Take a walk around your house and just see what could have happened over the wintertime.
Right.
It could be anything from, just look at your windows, look at your AC unit outside and see if there's any signs of, damage. I cover mine in the wintertime to avoid any ice or snow getting in there. They're designed to be outside, but it's best to take precautions. And just walk around and check your grading, make sure no dirt settled over the wintertime, so when the spring rain hits, it doesn't funnel towards your foundation.
Yes.
Just do just a visual inspection of what's going on around your property, and if you see anything that's suspicious or seems like not right, then you can move forward from there to figure out what the problem is and fix it.
Well, and that's a big question too, is that, a lot of people might see something that they think, oh, that's no big deal. You kind of have to learn what's suspicious and what's not. And if you're questioning something, that's when you have your contractor that you call and say, hey, send a picture. Like, what is this? Is this a problem or not? Right?
Right. Unfortunately, sometimes we get some customers that they didn't know what they were looking at.
Right.
And that's half the battle, is to know what you're looking at and what things are supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you check your caulking around your windows, around your doors, if it's cracked or looks like it's peeling away, then there's a definite issue there. But if everything's solid, then you're in good shape. But it's half the battle's knowing what to look for, and that can be done really just a quick Google search on what stuff
should look like.
Yeah.
Right. Even things like their trim around their doors, and like if they have a shed, I know we have issues with that. We're fixing that this year. It's on our list. The bottom of our shed is looking a little rotten. So a lot of things you can tell even with kind of the uneducated eye,
Right. Yeah. There's some big warning signs on a lot of stuff.
Right.
That present themselves unfortunately pretty heavily, especially in the spring when the snow melts.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, first step, just take your walk around your property and try to determine what happened over the winter. What problem areas do we need to address? That kind of thing.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I would recommend doing. And fire up your AC unit early.
To get on the list in case you need a repair, right?
That's it. I always take the tarp off mine and start it up. If we get a nice day in like March, where it's like 50, 60 degrees, I'll just hit the thermostat, turn it on, make sure it's running properly, make sure it's blowing cold air. That way, when it gets into May, June, and you get those 80-degree days, you're not stuck without AC.
Right. That's so wise. Oh my gosh, guys, definitely do that now because it's warm enough. You totally could,
Yep.
So we talked a little bit about this, but you were talking about grading, and you want to funnel the water away. Moisture in this area is a problem because it's just so wet in the winter, and the springs actually are sometimes even worse.
Right.
And so what are we looking for? Because we want to keep moisture away from your house. That is like the enemy number one when it comes to a house. What are they looking for in terms of issues there?
Right. So when you're walking around your house, you want to see positive grading away from your house.
So sloping, like foundation is here, it slopes away. Yeah.
Right. That way, any any wind-driven rain, or if it somehow misses your gutters, it's away from the house.
Is that something regrading? Should you do that every couple years, just as kind of like a precautionary thing, or just as needed?
As needed. I don't think it's necessary. I mean, you'll definitely be able to tell when it's necessary, because I just had to redo in my backyard, because there was some negative grading that I didn't even realize because it was underneath my mulch.
Oh.
So, pro tip, pull your mulch back.
Yeah.
See how deep the mulch is at the house. Your foundation here, you want to make sure that the dirt goes like this, not just the mulch.
That is an awesome tip, because I thought mulch counted. It does not count.
Water will go down through your mulch, and then if the dirt is pointing towards the house, it just helps to funnel it against your foundation. So pull your mulch away. Don't just keep adding to it. Pull your mulch back, add dirt, and then redo your mulch.
Oh, that is a pro tip.
Or
so definitely
whatever kind of landscaping you have.
Right. Even rocks or anything like that, just pull it
So
back.
I have river rock, and I couldn't tell until I pulled the rocks back and I saw the rock was about 5 inches deep, and the water I was getting water in my basement because of it.
Oh my goodness. Now, since then, you haven't had any issues?
Nope.
Wow. And that's so funny, because I hear of people that have water in their basement all the time, and they call these companies, not that there's anything wrong with the companies, like to come out and put sump pumps and interior French drains and all of that, where they might be able to just solve the problem with their grading.
Right. And not every problem has to have excavation or major price tags associated with it.
Right.
It could be something as simple as just a couple yards of dirt to solve it.
Right. When it comes back to what I tell people all the time, like, it doesn't cost much to get, like you're saying, a couple yards of dirt and put around the foundation and regrade it.
Exactly.
So those little things over time really make a big difference, because I mean, I've done sump pump and interior French drain systems where they're spending $10,000, $8,000. I mean, it's very expensive to have issues like that. And if you let the water go too long, it creates maybe movement in your foundation where you're really dealing with a big problem then.
Right. And something that could be as simple as a $100 fix in dirt, 10 years down the line turns into a $10,000 fix, because it has just eroded and caused so many problems that you might need foundation straps or wall anchors, or it's just amazing how it compounds and the destructiveness of water.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. So we're watching out for the water. Should we be watching out for other areas besides the foundation? I mean, should you be looking at like your siding and things like that, just to make sure water can't get in there? Yeah.
Check your siding, make sure that there's no holes, make sure that everything is separated. Because siding, if you have vinyl siding, it kind of snaps together.
Sure.
So if it seems as though it came undone, which can happen in strong winds like we had the other night. Had some pretty strong winds, and it could very easily pop your siding apart if it wasn't, the strong bond to begin with. So
and then water just gets down behind it.
So check your siding, make sure that everything is secure, solid, make sure there's no holes, make sure it's not falling apart in terms of the not together, and check your gutters. Wait for a good rain and just look at all the seams in your gutters. If you don't have seamless gutters, which I don't have seamless on my house, so I have several seams. Every time it rains out, just go look. Make sure that nothing's leaking, make sure everything looks like it's coming out of downspouts are flowing well, and that can also help with making sure you're not getting any water.
Absolutely. Oh, good advice. So another big ticket item that we kind of sort of touched on already, but I think we could probably go deeper, is your HVAC system.
Yeah.
And that's something that, I mean, it's expensive to replace, so you can really, I think, probably prolong the life of it if you're maintaining it, right? So what should we be doing there in the spring?
So like I mentioned, in the spring, fire up your AC, make sure everything's working well. I cover mine in the wintertime. Don't have to, they're meant to be outside, but I feel that it will help prolong the lifespan of it. And just once a year, call an HVAC guy and have him come out and do a tune-up. Just make sure everything in your furnace is running well, not just the AC, but the furnace too. Make sure the blowers are going strong, make sure everything is good, and change your filters regularly.
Yes. Well, and you should not change your filters just once a year, right?
So, if not,
how frequently do you recommend?
At least twice a year, if not 3 to 4.
Yeah. I have actually heard, now I live in a house as do you with dogs. Right. I have heard that I have a husky, we should probably be changing ours every 4 to 6 weeks, I would think. Every couple months, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we have 2 dogs here, so if you have 2 dogs that tend to shed, and but just between that and the dust, I mean, it's amazing when you pull those filters out how caked they can get and what they really do pick up that you're not breathing in. So right. I would recommend, if not every quarter, so every 3 months. If you have animals and you have kids and you have a lot going on, you like to open your windows a lot in the summertime, change them every 2 months.
Yeah.
You know? And
I know check it and see how dirty it is.
I know filters aren't cheap, but it's a lot cheaper than a $10,000 new furnace.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, good advice.
Good maintenance.
So, what's that?
I said it's a good maintenance tip to just change them every 2-3 months and get ahead of it.
Well, and have them serviced too. I mean, our service plan is not ridiculously expensive, but again, if it's going to get more years out of my mechanicals, then yeah, absolutely, I'll do that.
Yeah, and even they might show up at your house and just run a couple tests and say, "Oh yeah, you're good to go." But that one time that they catch it and say it's not right, it'll cost you $100 or whatever to fix a certain part, but the whole system is running. So
I agree. So safety is always a big concern. I mean, I have children, so obviously but what should we be looking at safety wise in terms of spring home maintenance?
I would say, in terms of safety, check your dryer vents.
Oh yeah.
I tend to check mine twice a year. Especially if you do a lot of laundry. You got several kids running around, and you're doing a lot of loads of laundry. If not more than twice a year, pull your dryer off the wall and just take a shop vac. Clean out.
You can just shop vac it out. My husband always does this, so I don't even know.
Clean out the back of where it blows out of the dryer. Clean that out. Clean out where you clean out your lint. Clean that hole. They make attachments for the shop vac that can get in there and clean out anywhere that there could be lint. And if you have the ability to, I know some people don't, but if you have the ability to take the entire the whole vent hose off, and run the shop vac all the way through it, clean it out 100%, then that eliminates any safety concern there. But they can catch fire if they get clogged, and if it can't positively blow it out to the exterior, it can get hot enough to catch fire.
That is so scary. So yeah, definitely doing that a few times a year I don't think is a bad thing. Right. What else should we be? I mean, I assume check smoke detectors and fire extinguishers. So yeah. Check
your batteries if you have battery powered. If you have hardwired smoke detectors, just walk around and make sure that press the button, make sure they beep. Check them all. Change your batteries, even if they beep. Change them.
So just take them out, change them.
If you haven't changed them in a year or so, change them anyways. Yeah. Batteries are cheap. Change them. It's not worth having a fire and having them, for all the battery could die the day after you check it.
That's so true.
It's just best to just change the battery anyways.
No, I agree.
And on the hardwired ones, if they have a battery backup, check that battery too.
That makes total sense. Safety is definitely top priority. Should be for everyone. Right. Well, and you were telling me another story about a customer of yours that had I guess I would call it a safety concern. You might list that in there, but checking your faucets, right?
Yeah. So you can check. I think the story I told you was his hose bib outside. I got a 911 call on a Saturday afternoon And nice day outside. This was a couple weeks ago actually. He decided to get out and he wanted to wash off the sidewalk and pulled his hose out, hooked it up. No water.
Right.
Made sure that the valve was open. Still no water. Went back down in his garage and the garage is totally flooded.
Oh gosh.
He had, over the winter time, the pipe had frozen.
Right.
And when he turned the water on,
it exploded.
It exploded all through the garage. So now that is something that you might not notice it until you turn the water on.
Right.
When pipes crack like that and there's no water to it, you don't know until you turn it on. So when you first turn them on for the spring, do it slow or have a second person with you to just double check and make sure, because those things can happen. And if you don't have, like, he was lucky that it happened in his garage.
Yeah. Well, like I told you, we have a back spigot outside that exploded in our basement the first year we moved in. Now, granted, it wasn't finished, thank goodness, but I mean, it wasn't very long, but still, I mean, water is like enemy number one when it comes to houses, you know?
Yeah. And so some people, they might have it in a finished basement, and sorry, my email keeps going off.
No, it's okay.
They might have it in their finished basement, and if the pipe bursts and water goes all through the finished basement, I mean, it could be thousands of dollars in, and then you get the insurance company involved, and it just becomes way more hassle than it needs to be. And so just always make sure you shut your water off in the wintertime before it freezes. Right. And just have a second person to help you check it in the spring when you turn it on. Right.
And knowing if you have a pipe, for example, your customer in the garage, maybe he needs to put some extra insulation on that pipe just to be sure that doesn't happen again, Right.
And that's what I told him to do. They sell some pipe wrap insulation that you can put around it just to help protect it, and anything you can do to avoid an issue.
Oh gosh, yeah, you don't want to be dealing with a water issue, that's for sure. That is for sure. So we didn't touch really on one big item that a lot of people I think are afraid of, and that is the roof. So what should we be looking? I mean, that's an expensive item, and you certainly don't want a roof leak throughout your house. Again, it's all to avoid water coming in your house. So what should they be looking for, or what should they have someone else look for if they can't get up on the roof?
So a lot of the times you can visually inspect your roof from the ground.
Oh.
Just to inspect what the shingles look like from down on the ground. I do recommend getting up on the roof if you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. Just to make sure that no shingles have blown off or they're not cracked. I mean, the shingles are made of asphalt, same as what they make the roads out of, essentially. So over time, they do degrade and they do shrink, and especially if they get a lot of direct sunlight.
Okay.
So while you're doing your walk around your house to check for your grading and check your windows, check your doors, take a look up, look at your roof and see, are there any shingles missing you can visibly see from down there? Are they looking like they are shrinking? Mm-hmm. See, shingles are supposed to be tight to each other, and then they overlap the whole way up to the roof. Well, if they look like they're starting to come apart, and you have a 15, 20-year-old roof and they're starting to come apart, that little bit of separation can cause some problems. So, and if you see something like that, then definitely call a roofing contractor to come out. And they might tell you, yeah, it's getting there, but you got another 5 years. You got to, you have some time to save up for a new roof, and you have some time to prepare yourself. But if you feel comfortable getting on your roof, take a walk around and just look for any kind of shrunken shingles, any missing shingles, any cracked shingles, flashing, which, if for people who don't know, the flashing is the metal pieces that go down if your shingle meets your chimney, your shingles meet siding. A lot of times they have the flashing running down that catches any water that can get past the shingles.
Sure.
Check that. Make sure there's no pieces missing. If it looks like you can see the metal flashing in most places and all of a sudden there's none somewhere else.
Right. Probably not good.
Probably not good. I mean, it's very rare that they blow away in the wind because they are nailed down, but
right.
I've seen crazier things.
That's true. That's true. Well, speaking of wind, we learned last year with our windstorms to check your chimney cap too, because ours blew off completely in a windstorm and almost landed on my husband's car.
I recall.
Yeah, I know you remember that because you were involved. So yeah, definitely check your chimney cap, I would say, just to make sure it's not damaged. It's still there, you know?
So he got the new one on?
Yes, all is well. We got the new one on. We're good to go this year. The last year was definitely an interesting time, that's for sure.
Yeah. So and that's the other thing. Chimney caps. Just make sure it's still there.
Right, exactly.
Chimney is supposed to have something stopping the water on the top. So
right. Well, and animals too. You don't want any animals.
Yeah, I mean birds, squirrels, chipmunks, you name it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think part of this whole thing too is, them avoiding costly issues down the road, but they also need to realize when do they need to call in a professional? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I love what you said. When you get up on your roof and if you see an issue, just call a roofer because they're going to know what to do, as opposed to you trying to get up there if you don't know what you're doing.
Right.
And trying to fix something and maybe making something worse,
Yeah. Definitely could make it worse. A lot of times we will see that people try and DIY it, and it'll help for 6 months,
right,
or less, and then the problem got so much worse, and it causes, added cost in the end.
Right.
You just try and save a couple bucks by doing it yourself, and if you don't know what you're doing, it'll just cost you in the long run.
Yeah. No, I totally.
I know a lot of people just like me. We give free estimates. So give me a call, and if you say, hey, I think, looks like I have a leak in my gutter or a shingle blew off, can you replace it? I'll come and take a look for free. And tell you what's going on, tell you, visibly what I see, without tearing into it, obviously, but just visually what I can. Visually.
Dogs.
Visually what I can see and what I can tell you is going on. I can get you a price
right.
based on that. And a lot of times, sorry. Yes, I can get up there and visually give you an idea of what's going on and get you an estimate. And then from there, you can decide if it's cost you'd like to go forward with, but I totally recommend calling a contractor because
yes, 100%. I've learned that the hard way.
at the very least, we can tell you what's going on.
Exactly.
And
well, and Brittany is going to link up your contact information down below. That way everyone can see it and get a hold of you so prepare yourself up for a deluge of phone calls.
Great. Hey, if you see this and you feel like you have something going on that you need looked at, I will definitely come out and take a look. No charge, and we can get together on finding a solution for you.
I love it. Well, I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy evening here. I want to get you back to your puppies. Taylor has a new puppy, everyone, and he's amazing.
He's a handful.
He's a handful. They usually are, they usually are. But yes, thank you so much for taking the time to share your knowledge and your expertise with everybody watching. And we are going to be doing a Facebook Live Q&A next week. Well, it'll be next week, from the time this airs. So join us for the Ask a Contractor Q&A. Bring your questions, and Taylor's going to do his best to get us answers. And if he doesn't know, maybe it should be Stump the Contractor. What do you think? I'm totally joking.
Hey. Think of your best questions.
I know. I love it. All right. Game on. I love it. So, but again, we'll do a live Facebook Q&A in 1 week. We'll tell you the date and time once we know it. And thank you, Taylor, again for coming
Thank you
by our Zoom call here.